I had a dream last night, and in my dream I was in a mall, and the mall was full of clothes that were old. I saw like some old Allen Iverson Answer shoes. I saw some old, all the outfits were old. Everything that they were selling was old. And it's funny because I used to sing the part in the Kanye song where it said, Reeboks, baby, you need to try some new things. I used to say that all the time. Like anytime somebody was on something that was, old or, that was outdated or, they needed to get up on something new. And everything in the store was old. They had like an old Lacoste set and some old school style, baggy jeans that we used to wear like in the 90s. But everything was old and they were about to close. Now, for me, malls represent the spiritual marketplace. I've had dreams about malls ever since I was young. I would see myself going into spiritual marketplaces and being able to purchase things. You purchase things with your faith and with your attention. And so there was one dream I had when I was young where I had a shopping cart that was like full to the ceiling, one of them comically crazy shopping carts, and I was pushing everything out with this shopping cart. And there's other dreams I had where I had to go in there and buy things specifically for my brother. My brother was actually like folded up on the shelf, and I had to go pray for him and get him out of, the mall. And God told me in that dream, get your brother something out of Jimmy's store. And I took Jimmy to be, God revealed Jimmy to be a shortened version of James. And the Bible says, an effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. Pray for one another. And so I was praying for my brother. God was just basically telling me to pray for him, but he was illustrating it as a mall scenario where I was pulling something out of the mall, the spiritual marketplace. And there are things that you can always buy out of the spiritual marketplace. But what God showed me about the mall this time was that the mall was closing. And I was walking in the mall, and I walked into this last store, and everything in the store was old. But I was asking the person at the, he was pulling down, that little gate they pull down in the mall right before everything closes. He was pulling that little gate down. And I said, oh, y'all closed? He said, nah, man, we got about 30 minutes. And as I was looking around, I was like, really, there's nothing that I really want in here. Anyway, there's nothing that I really want in here. Everything is kind of old. I'm waiting for the new. I'll wait for, the new. I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking in my dream. Like, I got to go somewhere where they got something new, and what hit my spirit was the verse where Jesus says, he that is unjust, let him be unjust still. It's at the end of Revelations. It's like, look, I've showed you everything that's going on right here. Don't seal up the words of this book, but he that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He that is unrighteous, let him be unrighteous still. He that is holy, let him be holy still. In other words, keep on what you got on. Stop going for all these big, saying dreams. And it was a story about a man named Baruch in the book of Jeremiah. And Baruch was the servant of Jeremiah. He was his scribe. And some crazy times were coming. And Baruch was prophesying of all these crazy times that were about to come to pass. And Baruch says, woe is me, because I'm living in this time. And, I wanted to have nice things, and I wanted to live like this and live like that. And God told Baruch, look, behold, the end of all things is coming. And dost thou seekest great things for thyself? And God told him to seek them not. But I'm going to give your life a prey for you wherever you travel. In other words, look, there are certain seasons where it's time to, be invested in a new stock opportunity, and to be thinking of the new business venture, and but listen, if you really understood the time you were in, you would realize that you're Lot having to save your family out of Sodom. You would realize that you are at a pinnacle. You're Noah right now. And investing in the new venture is not as important as making sure that your ark is secure. You understand? This is the time that we're in. And you have a very short period of time. They've already begun to close the gate. The Bible says in the book of Revelations, Jesus said this. Look, when the porter closes the door, You're going to be begging, knocking, and saying, look, come open unto us. Da, 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 da. And he's going to say, look, I know you not where you're from. I don't know where you're from, you know. And I believe that we're at that time. It's time to be in or out. It's really time to be in or out. God gave me a dream earlier about the month of August. And someone came and then told me September. And he didn't even really tell me August. He said a couple of months. He gave me a few months. And I calculated it, and it was about right at the end of August. And someone else said September. So I'm really believing for this season right here. God is showing us the season. Something's going to happen big, particularly regarding America in August, September. Something big is about to shake. Make sure your house is in order. Peace.